Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today we are continuing with our grade 12 paper 1 preparation, and as you can see here we are doing calculus question 8. Let's get right to it. Okay, so question 8.1 asks determine f dash of x from first principles if f of x equals x squared minus 2. If you are looking for this past paper, I'll put a link in the description and pin one to the comments. When you see this question, you should immediately think, right, fantastic, this is 5 marks in the bank, because you already know that f dash of x is equal to 2x. So if you don't get this, you know you've made a mistake and you can go and fix it. So we get our first principles formula from the formula sheet at the back, which is f dash of x is equal to limit as h tends to 0 of our f of x plus h. I'm going to do this in green just so we can see what's what. And there it is. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to get what f of x plus h is. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with an x plus h, right? So f dash of x is equal to x plus h squared instead of x, and then minus 2. And then I can pop that in the formula. I'm going to put that in there now. So it's x plus h squared minus 2. Let's go back to 1. Okay, so we got f dash of x equals limit as h tends to 0 of f of x plus h, that's this, minus our f of x, which is our x squared minus 2, and that's all over h. Okay, now we times the x squared, x plus h squared, we times that out, and so we get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 2, and then we have minus x squared plus 2. Okay, now what must happen when you get to this stage is everything without an h needs to cancel. Okay, I don't know why I wrote 2 at the bottom. That's an h. Just replace that with a h there. And now we are going to see that this x squareds cancel, and so do the 2's. And so we are just left with, I'm going to drop the colors now, and I'm just left with f dash of x equals limit as, we must write, guys, we must write f dash of x equals limit as h tends to 0. If you don't get this, you don't get the mark. So just like I did there, if you see that you didn't do it, quickly go and put it in. You only drop this h tends to 0 when you replace the h with a 0. Okay, so that's going to be 2xh plus h squared over h. Now what we notice is that, yes, everything has an h, so we can take that out as a common factor. And that allows us to cancel the h's, because we cannot divide by 0. So that's why the h's have to go. That h at the bottom. So there we go. Now it cancels. And so we get our, I'm just going to do this on the same line, f dash of x equals limit as h tends to 0 of 2x plus h. And now we replace our h with a 0, and so we get our final answer of f dash of x equals 2x. And we can see that we're going to get full marks because we get what we're supposed to. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, now when you see anything like this, d over dx, or sometimes they'll write it as dx like that, this all means the same thing. So when you're on question 8, if you see this, or if you see like f dash of x, or dy over dx, this all means the same thing. It all means just get the derivative. So if you're on question 8, or you can see that it's the calculus question, you know you just have to find your derivative. Okay, so this is a nice easy couple of marks because we times the exponent by the number in front, so we get 6x, and then anything with an x which just has no exponent there, we know the default exponent is 1, That's just -4, because 1 times -4 is -4. And of course, when you take 1 off the 1, you get x to the 0. And that's why that x goes away, because it's -4 times 1. Okay, this should be our marks in the bank, this section. So question 8, if you get some trickier questions early on, I would skip to question 8 and then go back and do the harder questions. Whenever you see something like this, okay, this again is asking for the derivative, but we need to get the roots into powers so that we can use that power rule. So we're going to make g of x equal -2, and we know root x is x to the half. Okay, now what we can do is we can actually times this out, can't we? So we can times this out and we get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay, and now we can FOIL this in, and so we get -2x to the 2 plus a half is 5/2, right? Plus negative times a negative is a positive, right? So we get plus 4x to the 3/2. And then this last one here is going to be just minus 2x to the half. Now we can use our power rule, right? So if you are unsure about fractions, don't be scared to use it in your use your calculator, just to get it, make sure you don't make any careless mistakes, especially these final exams, right? Okay, so 5/2, the 2's cancel, we get -5, and when we take 1 or 5/2, we get 3/2. Right, 3/2 times 4 gives us 6. Take 1 off 3/2, we get a half. And then when we take this, a half times -2, we get -1. And then when we take 1 off the half, we get -1/2. Okay, I can just tidy this up a little bit by making it into positive exponents, okay? Just in case, okay? You don't have to do this, but I like to do it. It wouldn't be wrong also to make that into root x. But yeah, I'm just going to make it x to the half. And that is question 8.2.2. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this next question asks, given that y equals 4x minus 14 as a common tangent to f of x equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 6, and g of x equals ax squared plus bx minus 18, calculate the values of a and b. I'm going to leave you with this question to try and do on your own, but don't take too long struggling over it, because there is some ambiguity in this question. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do this question, but address the ambiguity in the question and show you what they should have said in order for this question to make sense. Okay, now if you would like to do this paper together with me from the beginning to the end, I've put all the videos in a playlist, as you can see here, starting from question 1 all the way to the end. So what I would suggest you do is click on the link in the description or in the comments. I'll pin a link to this playlist so that you can start from question 1 and work your way through to the end. And I think that that is going to be excellent preparation for your paper 1.